Center in Chapel Hill, where the Tar Heels have lost only one game this year. That was that remarkable Maryland comeback. The starting lineup tonight for the Florida State Seminoles: Randall Jackson, Ron Hale, and Corey Lewis up front, with James Collins and Gary Thompson in the backcourt. A Florida State ball club that has won 3 of its last 5 and stands 3-6 in the ACC. The Tar Heels will start Antoine Jamison, Ademola Okalaja, and Serge Zwicker, with Vince Carter starting ahead of Ed Cota in the backcourt, along with Shamond Williams. The Tar Heels are 3-5 in the ACC. We'll have the opening tip from Chapel Hill when we come back right after this. Twice Pat Kennedy's Seminoles have won at Chapel Hill, including last season. In fact, they've won 2 straight over the Tar Heels, and head coach Dean Smith, who come into this game having lost 5 of their last 9, and bidding for Smith Center victory number 130 tonight. This is the second game of the regular season series between the two. Billy, the Seminoles played a great game at Tallahassee, winning by 13. Gary Thompson at the point did not turn it over in that game against the Tar Heels. That was a solid win for FSU.
I'd have to go back a long way to find somebody who had 10 assists against North Carolina in the backcourt with no turnovers. That's quite an accomplishment.
Sam Croft, Mike Wood, and Andre Patillo, the officials tonight. The Tar Heels and Florida State.
Well, Carter going to the backcourt to match up with Collins, giving up too much size with Cota back there. So looks like that North Carolina right off the bat wants to match up size for size. They weren't very successful stopping Collins in the first game.
And quickly, Jamison goes to work. A big fake and an opening foul against the Seminoles.
Florida State fell asleep on the tap. Jamison wide open. A little quicker pass would have led to a direct layup.
Antoine had only 11 points, and we say only because he's second in the ACC at that 19.9 mark that you see.
Got into some foul trouble in that game early. Never really got into the flow down at Florida State.
Missed 6 of his 10 field goal attempts. In fact, in 3 career games against Florida State, Bill, he's averaging only 9 points and 6 rebounds. It seems like Florida State has found a key in Corey Lewis in the stopping championship. Shamond Williams for 3.
Tremendous outside shooter is Williams.
He's had at least 2 threes in 11 straight
11
games.
straight with double, exactly. North Carolina in the matchups right here. And it's Okalaja on Collins. They want that size. Now Collins is a lot quicker if he get the ball and start working off the dribble.
Shot clock at 8.
Here he is. Let's see if he can take him off the dribble.
Rebound for Corey Lewis. Fake Zwicker puts it in, and a foul on the big man. Again, Corey Lewis, who exploded against the Tar Heels at Tallahassee with 8 rebounds and 4 blocks and 15 points, works inside well.
He's just so quick on the inside. Zwicker, who's having a fine year, really not able to stay with that quickness. Lewis last year, in just 15 minutes against North Carolina, had 12.7 rebounds. So he's had some outstanding games here.
At his career high in this building as a freshman, right? 26 here. 3-2 Tar Heels.
And it's Lewis and Jamison on the inside. 2 outstanding players.
Okalaja drives and lays it home.
Terrific job on Hale. Just ate him up.
5-2 North Carolina.
And it is Okalaja Collins. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Here's Lewis firing over Zwicker and hitting. Corey Lewis off to a 5-point start.
You know,
4-point start.
The story about Dean Smith talking to Lewis about, son, you can play a lot better than you've been. Just get out there and play hard, but don't do it against Carolina. I think Dean Smith probably wished he had that pep talk back.
Okalaja has lost temporarily that 3-point touch. Lewis, that's an offensive foul. Jamison takes the charge.
Good pass by Thompson. Finds the open man. Jamison hits the floor. Pretty close call. Who initiated the contact?
5-4 Tar Heels. Zwicker too far underneath. Thompson. Now Collins knifing through to score.
And that's what I was talking about. He's got more quickness off the dribble than does Okalaja have defensive footwork. So that's going to be tough.
This is one of North Carolina's toughest matchups. Personnel just doesn't fit. They've got some matchup problems out there that the Seminoles can exploit.
Thompson almost turned it over without any pressure.
Jackson.
Jackson down to Jamison. Great hustle by Hale.
He saves it, but into the hands of Shamon Williams. Inside Antoine. And up to get it is Randall Jackson, his third rebound.
Jackson, Lewis, and Hale can get up. Nice.
And the dunk by Lewis. He's got 6, and Florida State leads by 1.
We talked about Thompson, 10 assists, 0 turnovers. That's the second great pass he's made off the dribble in this game.
Shamon for 3. Carter in to get it. And now it's a loose ball picked up by Jamison. He scores.
Fastest off the floor of anybody in the United States. He just is incredible how he can catch that ball in his hands and deliver, particularly on the second jump.
Jackson takes it right away from him.
Was Jackson trying to pass that? He put it right in Surge's hands.
Jamison off the window. Antoine with 4. Pretty physical, Billy, in the paint.
Well, it is. Somewhere along the line, one of those two players is going to get into some foul trouble because no call has been made between Lewis and Jamison fighting for position down in the Carolina end of the on the end of the floor. When they start blowing the whistle on that, somebody's going to pick up some quick ones.
Jackson over Zwicker. Okalaja, good block out on Collins.
Jackson only 28% from 3 this year. You wonder why he's reverting to shooting from the outside when they've had good luck penetrating.
Speaking of penetrating, Vince Carter pushes the Carolina lead to 5. North Carolina's biggest advantage in the early going. Off the glass to Hale. And a blocking foul on Carter.
That could have been Thompson's first turnover, but he got lucky off the glass. Now, what's kind of interesting for Florida State, they look like they have an advantage with Collins off the dribble, but he hasn't touched it since he made that penetrating move.
We'll see if Pat Kennedy makes that adjustment when we come back right after this message from Budweiser.
Bob, we talked about low post activity. Now watch Lewis and Jamison battling down there. A number of fouls by both players. Jamison does a great job breaking free. Terrific pump fake and the put up there. I think a good piece of officiating here would be you've got 2 outstanding young players. And to get them aside and say, hey, we want you to be able to play the whole game. So cut that out right now. I'm going to have to start calling something. At least warn them. You can't let that thing keep going on like that.
Yeah, good point.
Carolina goes into a zone. 1-2-2. Brower up off the bench immediately. See if he can get his three-point shooting going.
And Luckman is able to score inside.
There have been 9 players for Florida State that have started on occasion this year. Now, a guy like Luckman, that's a heck of a backup center for a college team. He's got a lot of experience, and he's had some explosive games.
Jai from the line. Florida State with the ball down 3. Thompson pounds it inside. There's Luckman again.
Behind the backboard. Didn't realize how far down the court he was. Made his turnaround and had no target.
Zwicker with the hook. And Lamar Greer the rebound. Out to Thompson.
Not a good pass. There's the first turnover. Tried to make 2 plays now early in this ball game and really weren't there.
Cota penetrating and scoring. And Cota, who averages 7 a game, pushes Carolina up by 5, 15-10.
Well, if you look at the stats, Cota's only made 2 threes all year long as a point guard, so you know he likes to penetrate. Got to play him for the drive.
And too long for Luckman out of bounds. The fourth Florida State turnover. They had only 8 in the first game at Chapel Hill, in Tallahassee, rather. And here's Jamison coming in for North Carolina. Jamon Williams is also going to check into the ball game.
Carter asked to come out, raised that fist. Dean Smith kind of smiling at him. Said, well, you know, I saw it, but I didn't get a man in for it.
15-10 Carolina. Tar Heels without a turnover as Cota bounces it inside. Jai had it poked out of his hands by Luckman. And now we got a foul on Jai after Luckman got the ball away. Mokhtar's first.
Well, there's a case where you talk about the trail officials. We were both looking, as was everybody else, at what was going on up front. That official trailing saw Jai do something from behind.
Jeff Brower
into the ball game for one reason. See if he can get that jump shot going.
Greer for 3. Jamon Williams takes it away. On the fly. Here's Cota. Great ball fake.
As I said, Cota can penetrate. Got terrific imagination when he goes inside off the dribble. North Carolina in the zone slightly and then got right back to the man-to-man with some pressure when Brower came into the game.
Thompson. And Jamison clears. You watch the Tar Heels the past couple of weeks, Billy, and they're starting to pick up a little steam. John, wide of the mark, air ball in back.
He's never been bashful.
No, he doesn't mind putting it up. Neither does this guy, Brown, but he has been in a slump. Elijah there to knock him out of bounds.
Now, isn't it interesting that Florida State came out going down low to Lewis, who had a good start, getting something out of the low post. All of a sudden, they've gotten away from it completely. He hadn't touched the ball.
And neither is Collins.
And neither one will be touching it now because they're both sitting on the bench.
Wicker coming deep. Jai goes out. 12:38 left in the first half. Tar Heels by 7.
Tried to get the lob to Jackson on the back screen. Nothing there.
Luckman takes it. Misses it.
Florida State really taking bad shots here.
And again, the pushing on Jamison continues now with Randall Jackson matched up.
Jamison getting a lot stronger, though, in his upper body, and you can't really bang him that well inside.
Luckman blocks out Zwicker. Brower rebounds.
North Carolina doing a good job getting back on defense. Just nothing there on the fast break so far.
Jamon Williams right up on Brower. Can't pull the trigger. Jackson takes it. And Jamison just got Lee Luckman for the rebound. His fourth.
Zwicker ahead on the break.
Look at this! Look at the big man run the floor. 22nd timeout for Florida State as Carolina leads 19-10. Our call of the week is from last Saturday's Clemson-NC State game. The Wolfpack down by 2. And you'll see Jeremy Hyatt hustle for this missed free throw. It's tapped where Ashima Benjamin collects it. The pass to Justin Gainey, who finds a wide open Danny Strong for the 3. And that gives State a 1-point lead with just under 5 minutes to play. Our call of the week is the Wolfpack went on to upset the Tigers 58-54.
Good job by Cota hitting ahead to Serge Zwicker, who was really hustling there. He actually was out on the play. There's a center that occasionally got out on the play, Eric Montross, who led this North Carolina to a national championship. Now you get a chance to see him on the NBA level, Bob.
Yeah, he's with Dallas, and NBA All-Star break time, so all the guys are scattering to catch up on old acquaintances. Long 3, that doesn't go.
You know, Florida State can look back at the first 10 minutes of this half and say, what are we trying to accomplish offensively? How about 12 games in a row with 2 or more?
Florida State, Billy, has missed its last 6 shots, and you could say all 6 were not that good.
Absolutely. They're not in an offensive structure. They're coming down and, you know, taking all kinds of crazy shots, and they're out of the ball game right now.
Gary Thompson with the pickoff. He drives in. Luckman with the offensive rebound. Kirk Luckman's second bucket. He's got 4, 22-12.
Thompson got hit in the upper thigh right there. He's really struggling if he runs it off.
The three-point numbers, the 2 for the Tar Heels, courtesy of Shammond Williams.
Vicker almost always looks to pass when he's over on that side of the lane. When he gets on the right-hand side of the lane, he looks for that little dump hook.
Cota with 2 on the clock.
There's that creativity of Cota on the inside on the dribble. He knows how to draw the foul, made body contact, put the defense in a bad shape.
Not your typical freshman, Billy, to be 20 years of age in your first year in the ACC as Jai returns. Jamison goes out. Ed Cota coming out of St. Thomas More. Very polished passer. We've seen that. He leads the ACC in assists at 6.2.
Right, we've got the #1 and the #3 assist man here. And last night, the #2 man and Duke University came away with a huge win.
Wasn't
that was a very interesting game to watch in terms of a style of play that Mike Krzyzewski developed for that game with basically 5 guys playing on the perimeter. Tough to defend that for Wake Forest.
But everything going the Tar Heels' way in this one, 24-12, North Carolina. Atlantic Coast Conference basketball on the Raycom Sports and the Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. Happy to have you with us from Chapel Hill tonight. Bob Rathbun and Billy Packer watching the Tar Heels jump off to this 24-12 advantage over Florida State. The Seminoles shooting just 38%. Sometimes shooting percentages are based on good defense. Sometimes it's based on shot selection. And certainly with Florida State, the latter is true.
I would agree, Bob. You can't really figure out what they have been trying to do. Early on, it looks like they had a focus, go down inside with Lewis, get Collins the ball with Okulaja on him with his quickness off the dribble, and then all of a sudden, the game gets away from him. And basically on shot selection.
Collins had the early field goal. Now outside for 3, Devonair Dees. That's just his 6th three-pointer of the season.
And I'd go back, even though that went in, why would you take that shot? You come in off the bench cold, you made 6 threes all year, and all of a sudden you pull up and take the fact that it went in is playing against the percentages.
And a pickoff by Dees.
Now he's going to be all confidence.
Edge Cota's prep teammate, Devonair Dees, impressing young Mr. Cota here with 5 quick points to help out Florida State.
North Carolina has substituted away from their starting lineup. 2 non-starters in the game right now. They'll be replaced quickly.
Carter for 3.
Big shot there because Dean Smith trying to steal some minutes against a team that likes to play deep.
North Carolina by 10.
Collins has got to make himself more difficult to guard. And he didn't force Okulaja to really play him on that occasion. That's what he's got to do right there. Just go right on by. Force him to play him.
This foul's going to go against Florida State.
It had to be on a screen. Or Carter banging on in his side. Brower doesn't get out there to him. Nice fake spike. Carter just to freeze the defender.
The foul was on Randall Jackson, his 2nd. And you could tell by that last flurry there by Carter, every cutter that goes through is getting bumped and very few whistles.
Well, we talked about that early on with the Lewis-Jamison action down low. Dees and Cota, there they are, teammates going after each other. Former teammates.
Ed drives in. Wicker. Beautiful. Surge has got 6. Carolina has hit 12 of its first 21.
Excellent pass by Cota. 2nd great assist he's made to Vicker. Both of them have been passes easy to catch.
Jackson inside to Lewis. Can't get it to go. Jamison rebounds out to Cota. Ed bounces to Swigger. No good this time.
Beautiful passing by Cota. Okolodge in the air. Might as well have taken the shot there and drawn the foul. He'd had 3. There's Brower just kind of like throwing it towards the basket. Really lost a lot of confidence on his jump shot.
3 of his last 23 now from three-point range.
Last year in the win here at Chapel Hill was 5 for 5 from 3.
Jamon Williams fouled by Brower on the drive to the basket. The North Carolina field goal percentage, Billy, at the start of the night is at 47%. That's the lowest since the early 60s. But over the last couple of weeks, his club is shooting better and better. Big reason why, the playmaking of Cota, making the big fellas look pretty good. We'll be back after this from Budweiser. North Carolina 29 and Florida State 17 with 7:28 left in the first half. Billy, you mentioned earlier about the backcourts of these two teams. Collins for Florida State and Jamon Williams for North Carolina. Right now the Tar Heels have the edge in the backcourt.
A big advantage, and I think really this first half goes back to shot selection and getting out of the game plan for Florida State. Bobby mentioned about North Carolina shooting under 50%. From 1970 to 95, only 2 years did North Carolina fail to shoot over 50%. I mean, an incredible string of proficiency on the offensive end of the floor. One of those years had been finished 5th in all of the nation, but it was under 50%.
And of course, that includes the advent of the three-point shot.
Exactly. Cota again, not looking for the outside shot more often. Pulled up and took it there. They gave him the shot. Worried about his dribble penetration.
Ed averages 7. He scored 8 here in the first half. 31-17. Here's Collins going to work.
He's going right by Okolodge off the dribble.
Dees. That one's blocked by Jai.
3-on-1.
Carolina blowout with Cota shuffling to Okolodge for the jam.
Over Collins, a terrific play. Great feed by Cota. He was able to freeze the defense. Terrific 3-on-1 break by North Carolina.
Dean Smith's Tar Heels playing great basketball at both ends. As they lead Florida State 33-17 with 6:37 left in the first.
Excellent block by Jai as he comes across, blocks it, and sets up a 3-on-1 fast break. Cota, Collins in the middle, nothing he can do right here, and then Okolodge with a great finish. Terrific job by North Carolina on both ends of the floor. They're really having an outstanding first half. Florida State can't pick up the pieces here.
Carolina on a 9-0 run. The Tar Heels shooting 58%.
Going to full court. Thompson out of the ball game. They've gotten away from their point guard. He's going to come back in right now, but you can see that they're totally out of sync on the offensive end of the floor.
Thompson indeed back in.
Now, we haven't seen Lewis had an opportunity to touch the ball in the low post, which is really what they exploited the first couple of times down the floor. North Carolina is zone out of bounds.
Collins a little shy on it, but Thompson picks it up. James on the baseline, and that's good.
Jai really active in this ball game. He's starting to pick up his play. Had a rough time getting back in. A young man that's transferred from Wake to Michigan to North Carolina. Now starting to become pretty active inside.
Okolodge with a rebound. He's been averaging almost 10 rebounds a game the last couple of weeks. He's got 3 tonight.
When Wake Forest recruited Jai, there was no talk of Tim Duncan being the man. It was Jai.
Look at that backdoor alley-oop to Jamison.
Luckman had his head turned, didn't even realize Jamison was behind him. North Carolina really playing efficient basketball here.
It's funny, when Jai was going to Wake Forest, all the talk was about the Wake Forest international flavor. Now the talk about Carolina in that thing. Luckman is fouled. Mokhtar with his second.
And what Jai does for North Carolina to give them that extra, there's another beautiful pass. You see how Luckman had his head turned, didn't realize the ball was being thrown. That's Cota's 4th assist in the half, all on perfect passes.
This Carolina ball club with Florida State tonight and Virginia coming in here on Saturday afternoon. Collins missing the 3. Lewis gets a tip to go. Tries again and scores. Corey Lewis had 2 of Florida State's first 3 baskets, and that field goal is the first one since that time.
And how did he touch the ball? Had to get an offensive rebound.
Zwicker with a hook.
Zwicker tough to handle with that wide body and that little half jump hook.
Hale baseline. Short. And a push on Hale.
Jamison just too quick to the ball for him.
Ron Hale's first personal foul. Maryland and Clemson coming up Saturday at noon. Big ACC doubleheader for you this weekend. The night game Saturday from Cameron Indoor Stadium as the Blue Devils and the Wolfpack go head-to-head. Check your local listings for game times stations in your area. Pat Kennedy's been handed a set of keys trying to find one that will unlock the Florida State offense. 37-21 Tar Heels. Jamison.
Oh, how
How did he hang out of that ball?
Unbelievable. The ball was blocked by Luckman. Jamison had the presence of mind in the air to catch it again and put it up. Incredible play here. Watch, he gets it blocked, catches it again, and then presence of mind to put it back up. Almost made the shot. And there he is again on the offensive glass.
Picks up his first foul on the exchange. Now Florida State trying desperately to get something going offensively. Not this time. Air ball from Greer.
I do not understand the game plan here, if there is one.
Here's Jamison. Short. Lewis the rebound.
That was a poor shot right there. The first time North Carolina really hasn't gotten what they wanted out of their half-court offense.
Florida State scored 84 points the first time these two matched at Tallahassee.
Good backdoor cut by Lewis. Never gets it back.
Thompson.
He walked.
And that gives it back to Carolina, the 7th Florida State turnover.
That's Thompson's, I believe, 3rd turnover of the half. Remember, he had 10 assists and no turnovers in the win.
Okalaja is back, and Jamison goes up. And now is a great time to order Pizza Hut's new pepperoni pizza. Pizza Hut, making it great again and again. 3:35 left in the half. Carolina by 16 over the Seminoles. Dakota in the lane. Knocked away. Thompson off Zwicker. Oh, Serge has it. Shot clock at 10. Zwicker out of bounds to the heels with 8 seconds to shoot.
Luckman with his second excellent block on the way up. Before it was Jamison, that time on Zwicker. Zwicker had a put away there, easy dunk. Good job by Luckman.
Williams floats it into Carter. Tar Heels have to be aware of the clock. 5 to shoot. Coda knows. Dishes. Okalaja missing the 3. Collins. Nice. Inside to Lewis. And a foul. And it's on Williams.
Nice job by Collins. Came to a jump stop. Lewis, who really hustled down the court. Lewis was ahead on this break. This is just real nice passing here by Collins. And Williams did a pretty good job, too, with the foul because Lewis had an easy put away. We're talking about give up an easy dunk for a 69% free throw shooter.
And only 57% in ACC play.
We say a lot of great things about Tim Duncan, and deservedly so, with leading the conference in scoring, rebounding, and blocks, and a lot of other things. But last night on that foul line, he had an opportunity to put Wake over the top. And these are so important.
That's the only chink in the armor.
That's exactly right. It's a fundamental skill that really can cost you ball games if you can't execute it.
37-22 North Carolina. Here's Jamison returning. Coda gets a break. Williams now at the point.
Changing their offensive thrust. Williams in the middle, little 4 corners here with Williams down in the middle against that trap.
Kicks it up. Carter faking, driving. Sure. Tip, no by Okalaja. And Jamison's got it. Tips it up, no. Luckman the rebound. 4 pops at it for the Tar Heels.
It's 5 on 4 now.
Greer hits a 3.
Jamison never did get back down court. Got a 2.
Now they're going to call that a 2-point field goal.
You eagle eye referee from the opposite side of the court was all over the play.
37-24 Tar Heels.
So check it out. It's a half-court trap, 1-3-1. Hard to double team the ball if you try to run that far at it. It allows passing lanes and should allow North Carolina to get something inside. Slow pass.
Florida State chance to knife into that lead. Collins for three, got it. James Collins getting Florida State back in the ball game. 47-27. Timeout Carolina, 22nd timeout. With lightning-like swiftness, Florida State can score some points. Get 5 in a hurry.
Well, you said Pat Kennedy was looking for a key. Maybe he found it in a half-court trap. There's Collins taking the outside shot. Buries it. Dean Smith has seen enough. Wants to get the troops over there by himself.
It's a Florida State team that leads the ACC in steals at 10.6. Our backcourt matchup, Billy, that you talked about. And so far, Kerry Thompson has had 5 assists, but the 3 turnovers have been crucial.
And it was during a part of the game where Florida State got completely out of their sync. They're coming back. They're staying with the half-court trap.
Minute 40 left in the half.
Coda's now in the middle. A very good passer if they can get the ball to him. He can turn, face. And there Florida State drops back into a little 2-3 matchup. So they show the trap, then they drop back to the standard zone.
Jamon makes him pay. Zone buster. 40-27.
Dean Smith does not want any fouls. Solid defense with man-to-man. As Vicker on a hold inside.
First foul on Surge.
And you know, Coach Smith was standing up on the sideline saying he absolutely did not want any fouls. And he just turns and looks back at Phil Ford. You know, didn't I just say no fouls? About 3 seconds later, there's the whistle.
The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Ray Gum and Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited.
And you know, head coaches want those assistants to make notes. I see Phil writing down as quickly as he can over there on the board. And I imagine one of the notes that will be discussed at halftime is, Serge, when I say no fouls, I don't mean tackle Corey Lewis. There's Phil with a new board.
For 3 straight years, Phil Ford led the ACC in assists. He's got a pretty good pupil in Ed Cota. Corey Lewis goes 2 for 2 at the line as Vince Carter, the native Floridian, comes in. Okalaja out. 40-29, North Carolina. And loose basketball, but Williams picks it up, finds Carter.
There's that 2-3. They're trapping out of this thing pretty well.
Inside. That's a goal by Lewis, but count the bucket. Vicker now with 10.
Vicker's got a nice shot from the 10-12-foot range on the wings. Over there, he likes the jumper. On the right-hand side, he likes the half hook. Not a good idea to try to block that.
42-29 Carolina.
Going to have to give it up. 20-second differential here. North Carolina playing a little zone of their own.
Collins for 3. Tips to James. Goes in the lane, fires it home.
Well, Luckman and Zwicker were tied up with each other. They just allowed Collins to take off on the inside and get his own boards. Back to man-to-man goes Florida State.
As Carolina works the final possession of the half.
This is the matchup I thought we'd see in the man-to-man. Collins out there on Williams, just trying to shut him down with that outside shot.
Inside Cota. And a foul. Going to be on Luckman. That's his first. And it comes with 2.5 seconds to go in the game. The Florida State will get one more possession. As Cota goes to the free throw line.
North Carolina probably pick up full court here, make them take as much time as possible to get that ball in the shooting position. You almost try to get that first pass now up to at least half court, because you have to move any dribbling in the back court basically takes you 2.5 seconds, and all you have left is a 70-foot throw.
Vasco Eftimov in for the Tar Heels. Carter goes in. And Cota in that first game in Florida has already scored 8 tonight and has 7 assists in this first half. What a half he's had.
And staying away from the turnovers.
73% foul shooting. Cota ready, looks for double figures. Missed it. Rebound. Florida State, and that's the hang. A very impressive first half for the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Antoine Jamison scored 6. Pat Kennedy's Seminoles on the bottom looking up by 12 at the break, 43-31 in Chapel Hill.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, by Ford, by Fairfield Inn, and by BP.
Here in Chapel Hill, it's the Tar Heels 43 and the Florida State Seminoles 31. Bob Rathman, Billy Packer, welcome back to halftime. Tar Heels, Billy shooting 51% in that first half. And boy, Ed Cota's had a great game, not only scoring, but also delivering the basketball. And Shamon Williams, one of the best three-point shooters in the country.
He really is an outstanding three-point shooter. Here you're going to see him get a three-point shot, but give Wicker some credit right here. A terrific screen setting up Williams from the outside. When Florida State went to the half-court trap, Williams was able to find the opening. And here's Ed Cota, who's had a terrific first half. Finding the open men. What I like about him, here he is on a drive and the penetration off the pass. What I like about his assists is they've been easy balls to catch. Here's the drive on the inside. Collins, who has had an excellent first half. He's got 11 points, 5 out of 10 shooting, hitting 1 from 3.
And here's a look at our Advance Auto Parts halftime stats. Billy, you look at that Florida State number at 41% from the floor tonight. You say, well, they're not shooting well, but the two big guys, Lewis and Collins, are.
Well, they really are. Lewis and Collins are 8 for 14. The rest of the team is 5 for 18. Now, you know, what you have to question here in this shooting percentage is why would the rest of the teammates be taking 18 shots when you got two horses that you can ride to the finish line that were off to excellent starts but didn't touch the ball? In the case of Lewis, he made 2 of their first 3 shots and never touched it again except off the offensive glass.
We'll see what they can do as the second half begins when we come back to Carolina after this.
Raycon Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, by Pizza Hut, and by Nationwide Insurance.
Carolina by 12 as we get set to start the second half. Great balanced scoring for the Tar Heels in the opening frame. They got 9 from Cota, 9 from Williams, 10 from Zwicker, 6 from Jamison. Collins, the leading man for FSU, with 11. And Florida State with the basketball to start the second half. And you got to believe, Billy, that these first opening minutes of the second half crucial for FSU.
Well, they really are crucial as to what are they going to try to do with the ball. Are they going to go down to Lewis down low? Nope.
They settle for a baseline jump shot for Ron Hale.
Ron Hale, who in the first half was 0 for 1. He takes the first shot in the second half.
Zwicker been off. Hale saves it.
Nice job by Hale there because Jamison was going after that offensive rebound. He doesn't miss many of them.
Inside. There's Lewis. Didn't get it to go that time.
Now that is 0 for 1, but that's the kind of shot you want to get.
A travel on Carter gives it right back to Florida State. But that's where you want to go.
Absolutely. Everything can fall off because North Carolina will have to do a lot. First of all, keep Zwicker occupied. And he's not as quick as Lewis. And you know that the shot's going up so he can get some good offensive positioning on the rebound. Dean Smith, realizing what they want to do, puts Jamison over there on Lewis.
And Hale, again, who ends up with the basketball in shooting position, travels. (43-31) North Carolina. Shimon Williams 3 for 3 from three-point range in the first half. Lob in to Surge, and he puts it up and off. Lewis controls the rebound. Number 9 in the ACC in rebounding at 7.4. 5 tonight.
Still puts Carter on Collins in the second half. Okalaja over there on Hale. A little better matchup because Carter does have quickness to go with Collins. Just a subtle switch of assignments, but very effective so far.
Lewis held up inside. And the whistle. Let's see, is it on Jamison?
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the beginning of the game. Remember the battle, those two were fighting for position constantly down in low. The officials call it quickly here in the second half. No calls were made on that in the first half. North Carolina again, as usual, goes to the zone out of bounds.
Lewis in traffic scores. Surge did a pretty good job. But
excellent defense. And
Lewis
still
is right there.
But again, a high percentage play for Florida State.
And a foul inside on FSU. This will go against Thompson.
I think Thompson was a little surprised that Williams took it to the hole so quickly. North Carolina been a little bit more patient than that.
First time tonight at the line for Shimon Williams. He leads the Tar Heels in free throw shooting at 81%. And a huge game in Tallahassee.
Trajan Langdon was on the foul line last night. I mean, if you're Wake Forest, you're trying to make a comeback. Of all the guys that you've seen in a while in this conference, and shoot over 90%, it's just like you might as well automatically put him up on the board. The key in a situation like that is to try to prevent him from ever touching the ball. As you put him on the foul line, and he just, I don't know if he had one that hit the rim last night. All net.
And a travel. Another turnover for Pat Kennedy Seminoles, their 9th.
Hale has taken 2 shots in the start of this second half. They're now uncalled for, and now a turnover, and he's going to sit a while.
2 turnovers.
Yep. Greer comes in, a little bit more experience on the floor now.
Point Carolina lead. Quick inside to Jamison. Slicker had it blocked and a foul. Greer from behind.
Greer from behind trying to block a 7'2" guy's shot as opposed to getting position before the shot went up.
So Surge will go to the line. Dean Smith looks on. Speaking of coaches, I know you had to be thrilled for Don Haskins and Pete Carrill to go to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a matter of fact, I think that 2 were left out. Jerry Tarkanian and John Thompson, the 2 guys that I feel should have joined that twosome. We talk about another coach you have to feel good for is a North Carolina alum, Eddie Fogler.
Yes.
How about 30 days ago, he's losing to the likes of Charleston Southern and Appalachian State. Now he's on top and undefeated in the SEC. A big win over Kentucky.
What a game. In overtime over the Wildcats in Columbia earlier this week.
Good to see Frank McGuire floor with that much enthusiasm for basketball.
Williams on the break. Carter the jam.
He's a tremendous finisher.
48-33 North Carolina.
Well, we talked at the top of the show about Florida State in losing 5 of their 6 games, having the lead in the second half. That's not going to be their problem here tonight. They got to figure out how to get back in the game, much less to lose the lead.
Jackson can't connect on the dunk. Here come the Tar Heels. Williams.
Victor running well down court.
Jamison leans in. Got it. Oh, my. What a shot. A leaner from the lane.
Now down 17. Wouldn't be a bad idea for a timeout by Pat Kennedy just to try to regroup the troops. I realize at the 16-minute mark he's going to get one, but this game could get completely out of hand here. Great rub off by Jamison to get that ball.
Trying to complete the 3-point play, and he does. 9 points for Antoine, and the Seminoles are down 18.
Down 18. Remember some incredible comebacks here on this floor, both by North Carolina and, of course, this year by Maryland. It's another one of those touch fouls inside. And remember the first half, none of them were called. That's the third.
On Jamison.
He'll probably have to sit for a few minutes. Jai had a pretty good active first half.
Jamison pleading his case to Andre Patillo. And a foul against Florida State. That time it was Collins who was doing the pushing.
Well, I think it was Jackson, wasn't it, on the way through?
Now let's see. It is on Collins.
Yep, Collins. Now Florida State did a pretty decent job in a half-court trap. They're going to have to do something unusual to get back in this game.
Someone rolled over the back of the rim. Here's Collins on the fly. Look at him motor. My goodness.
We talked about Carter being a good finisher. Collins is likewise.
51-35. And Williams did the smart thing.
That is not a shot.
He tried to coax it. Sam Croft made the right call, but
I think if Williams had thrown the ball towards the basket as opposed to passing out to the right, he'd have had a three.
I think you're exactly right. Timeout in Chapel Hill. We'll be back after this message from Bell South.
Here we're going to see that rough play down on the inside. We talked about the first half, a back screen. And there they go, Lewis and Jamison just going after it. Jamison, as happens so many times in the low post, is the guy with the second hit, is the guy that gets called for the foul. I'm not so sure that Lewis didn't commit the foul first.
Their matchups tonight. Now Carolina with the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, we talked about coaches' halftime talks. Maybe the officials had a little halftime talk. Say, got to keep it a little cleaner down in that low post.
Thompson nearly with the steal, but Cota controls. Now Williams for three.
That's a great decision by Cota. He was semi-open. Could have taken a shot himself. He's not as proficient a shooter as Williams. Puts it on the ball back in the hands of a guy who is an excellent shooter from there. Good efficient play by North Carolina. They're really playing well.
Oh, and Okalaja with a takeaway from Corey Lewis. Cota down the lane. Oh, my.
A little hesitation. Cota is making so many great decisions out here. By the little delay on that particular pass, he gave Okalaja a chance to get in the passing lane. Terrific decision on his part.
9 assists for Ed Cota.
Oh, you wonder why he's the #1 assist in the league. You're seeing it here tonight. Terrific play.
Greer jumps it inside. Held ball, and the arrow goes to Carolina.
The plays by Cota are not spectacular, but they're so fundamentally sound. You notice how he created the passing lane for Okalaja there? That was a terrific play. Nothing fancy, two-handed chest pass, but just a great play. This is good a display of guard control of the game and keeping his team focused as to what they're supposed to do, as I've seen this year.
Seemingly, Billy, the right play at the right time. 10 on the shot clock. Okalaja looking, finding Carter, 4 to shoot. Then spinning baseline. Wild shot, missed it. Jamison had a block from behind. Now Collins. There's Florida State in desperate need of a basket.
Still quite a bit of time here, so they don't have to take bad shots to get back in the game. They just have to play solid defense and take some good shots. They're not going to get this back all at one time. I mean, you get down 21 with a bad exhibition and execution in the first half of shot selection. You can't expect to recover in a matter of minutes.
Booker back. Okalaja goes out.
Nobody was there to take the ball out of bounds, so
Odd man takes it out of bounds.
You notice he ran all the way back down court to do it. Vicker. Solid screen guard for Jamison. He doesn't quite get there for the pass.
Williams faking, driving, good stop, laid it in.
And he did that jump stop right in front of Jackson, who was expecting an opportunity to block the shot if he had made a normal layup. It's just good, smart basketball by North Carolina tonight.
Shut off that time by Cota. Cross court to Greer for 3. That partially blocked by Williams. Greer saves it through Lewis's hands. Now Now it's Collins. James with 4 on the shot clock. Vicker the rebound.
Nothing going right for Florida State. Good unselfish pass. There's another beautiful feed.
And Jamison the dunk and a foul on Greer. Ed Cota, I'm telling you, is playing a whale of a game.
He sure is. And you know, Dean Smith likes and demands unselfish play, and he is getting it out here tonight by a guy that's thrown nothing but two-handed chest passes primarily and put him right on the mark. I said in the first half, he's got 10 assists and no turnovers, just what Thompson did in the other ball game. But what he's doing is throwing passes that are easy to catch. So fundamentally sound in this game.
You know, a lot of times you will see, of course, Cota's passes tonight have primarily gone to the post people. They've been in close to the basket. But even on the wings, like when he sets up Shammond Williams, Shammond doesn't have to go diving for the ball. He catches it in the proper shooting position.
Absolutely. No waste of time by the guy that catches it. No extra spin on the ball. Right where you want it in shooting position to be able to deliver your shot.
60-35 Carolina.
I mean, these are 10 true assists that he's had that lead directly to a basket. It's not an NBA assist.
Lewis, the turnaround. Nope. Rebound Jamison. Boy, Carolina with a second win.
Look at this.
Williams with a great catch to save it. Cota up and in.
Oh, yes. The young man's putting on a show.
Timeout, Florida State.
This is as fine as I've seen North Carolina play this year.
No doubt.
But Florida State is not that easy an opponent.
Timeout at Chapel Hill. They stand to applaud Ed Cota. We'll be back after this from Budweiser.
Here we're going to see a great crossover drill. We've been talking about Cota's passing, and that's against Collins, who's an excellent defender. Cota does the bounce step, puts it right over Luckman for the shot on the inside. He is having an excellent game. The ACC's #1 assist man, putting on a show here.
Cota's numbers tonight have double-double with points and assists, and in the last 2 games, going back to Middle Tennessee last Saturday, 16 assists, no turnovers. You know that makes Phil Ford a happy man.
North Carolina comes out in a little half-court trapping zone of their own.
And Okalaji, he took it out of bounds, but great anticipation.
It was a smart play on his part, because where is he going to throw the ball? He has nobody down on his end of the court. If he throws it back in bounds, it's 5-on-4 Florida State's advantage. Good idea to hold it out of bounds and let them get it back. And everybody can be properly assembled defensively. Here comes that trap again.
Lewis out of the corner. And the rebound comes to Cota.
Magnet hands of Jamison. He touches that ball and it's his.
Williams driving. And out of bounds. A few Carolina mistakes.
Well, there's an example. I've been talking about Cota's passes have been easy to catch. Now, your Serge Vicker, you don't have the quickest hands or feet. You've got to put that ball where he can catch it. That one, he had to extend himself, and of course, it goes out of bounds. Now, some guys, if Jamison catches that ball and puts it away, so you got to know who you're passing it to.
Brower hits a 3. His first basket of the game.
Good steal by Dees. Sloppy pass, inbounds pass by Vicker. So you see 2 turnovers by North Carolina in a row.
Brower moves up again.
And he has not been shooting well, and one of the reasons he's not is he wasn't in position to shoot that ball. His legs were almost crossed.
Here's Dees. Where was he going with that one?
Trying to make a play that wasn't there.
Okalaji for 3. Brower the rebound. 62-38 North Carolina.
Now, if you're Florida State, you want to get in some kind of rhythm here for the next game. This game is history. They have to start playing solid basketball, get ready for the next one. In the league now, they'll be 3-7.
62-41 Carolina. Brower with a punch away, but Okalaji retrieves. Williams. Okalaji now to Jamison. Wide open. 64-41.
Wow.
Wide right. Tipped away. Out of bounds to Carolina, and a collision as Dees and Cota, the former teammates in prep school, collide. And Dees has an injured hand.
Now, Dees was the one that took that ill-advised shot, set up the fast break opportunity, but he did get back in time, unfortunately, just to get injured. He runs right into Cota. You would think if you look at that crash from the start, that Cota would be the one to be hurt. But it's Dees. He's up. He's running off. But it was that last shot. You know, Bob, we've talked about this from the outset of this ball game. After about the first 3 minutes of the game, Florida State just out of sync completely. I mean, what they have to do now is to try to get back into playing solid basketball, pretend this score is 0-0, and just play solid. Get ready for the next game.
What will it take for Florida State on the road? They're 0-4 in the ACC this season.
Well, they're on the RPI index. Florida State right now is 46th. Now, when you start talking about taking as many as 7 teams from the league, they now push themselves into that 7th spot. And I'd say the way they're playing, that'll be hard to come by. There's Cota. He can do no wrong.
Ed Cota, the freshman from Brooklyn.
A little step in right here. He doesn't walk. Holds his ground. Been impatient all night. He's been very patient all night long. It's really paying off for him.
A perfect 5 of 5 from the field.
Now, if you're Dean Smith, what becomes difficult here is you want your guys, they played such a beautiful basketball game. You want them to stay in that focus, but with this kind of lead, it's hard not to try to do some crazy things, you know. And you don't want to get them out of this sync. Will he go to the bench here to let other guys play a little bit so these fellows can stay with the solid game they've had? It is not a deep North Carolina team.
You talk about the Tar Heels as Jamison goes out. And of course, this club started at 0-3 in league play and inching its way now back toward the top half of the league. Sean Dean had a very interesting comment, because when Carolina's analyzed on the national scene, they always say, well, if they had Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse, et cetera, they'd be one of the elite teams. Dean was asked about that, and he said about players leaving early, no one says anything about Tiger Woods. Only if it's a college basketball player do people talk about it. Basically, you go to school to get a job. And if a coach has been stung by players leaving early, it's been Dean Smith. But his attitude is just the opposite, looking out for his young men.
He didn't say nobody's talking about Tiger Woods.
No, he said nobody. He said about leaving school early to turn pro.
Okay. Because is there anybody not talking about Tiger Woods?
But have you seen anything lately about leaving Stanford? 67-42 Carolina.
Team is really, you know, this is where you see a club that is really well coached. I mean, they're staying right with their game plan, even with this lead. There's no hot dogging. They're trying to just stay within the offense.
67-42 North Carolina. Brower blocked on his wicker and pulled out of the air by Vince Carter.
Brower points to the fact that the ball hit the backboard, but it did, and that's still in play.
25-point lead for North Carolina.
And again, back to patience, playing solidly here. No one-on-one, no crazy shots.
Williams, 3 on the shot clock.
Shot.
Jamont takes it. Raised the rim. Rebound to Thompson, up ahead to Brower. He can't control it. Saved, but into Carter's hand.
We talked about passes being tough to catch. That was one. Dean Smith going to call a timeout now to figure out what kind of focus he wants out of his half-court offense.
And it will be a full timeout. 7:40 remaining in the ball game, with North Carolina leading Florida State 67-42. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser. Today's game is brought to you in part by Toyota. Bob Rathman, Billy Packer back at the Smith Center in Chapel Hill. Corey Lewis and Florida State in pretty good stead the first couple of minutes. They worked inside. It looked like Florida State would challenge the Tar Heels tonight. That was not the case. This has been a night for Ed Cota and the Tar Heels.
You know, it's kind of interesting. These two teams do have something in common, not in this particular ball game, but as far as the history of the ACC. They're the only two teams since Dean Smith has been coaching that have not been in last place during a year. Florida State, of course, hadn't been in the league that long, but the last to join, but they have not ever been in last place. It's hard when you think of all the great traditions in top teams. It's amazing that everybody has been there.
Tip up and in by Jai. His first basket.
Jai showed good signs in the first half and be a very valuable addition to this team down the stretch and in the NCAA tournament. He continues this improvement.
Collins to Thompson for 3. Gary Thompson's first basket of the game.
Florida State picking up full court now. Kindle in the ball game. Cota out, so they've got the two primary ball handlers out of the ball game. Could cause some problems for North Carolina.
Okalaja gets it ahead. Deflected. Jai the jam.
Well, it wasn't what Okalaja had in mind. It was supposed to be a lob pass for Carter, who can certainly handle anything way above the rim. It worked out fine. Jai, good hustle.
We talked about Thompson getting that last 3 as he shoots another here. But that was his first basket. Randall Jackson hasn't scored. Bill, that's a big chunk of your offense, almost 20 points. And here we are with 6 minutes to go in the game, and they finally get on the board.
When's the last time that you remember Randall Jackson touching the ball on a direct pass from a teammate?
Exactly. Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, presents this ACC Salute to Excellence question. What team holds the ACC record for most consecutive wins? The answer, just a few moments. Webb Tyndall stepping up to the free throw line for North Carolina.
You know, I mentioned, Bob, that RPI index. So,
yes.
And although the NCAA committee, Bob Frederick, who happens to be here with his son, who will probably get in this game tonight, it'd be great for Bob to see him. He's a great athletic director from Kansas. And he was the chairman of the NCAA tournament committee. The RPI index is something they follow very closely. And for ACC fans, right now, Wake Forest is ranked 3rd, Clemson 6th, Duke 9th, Maryland 12th, UNC 15th, and Virginia 20th. Now, when you start talking about seeded teams, there are 5 teams in seeded positions immediately. Well, everybody's seeded, but I'm talking about in the top 16.
Luckman.
Nice touch.
Off the glass. How about the ACC tournament? Is that going to be a war? Davison tipped away.
Well, there are many people that say, do I want to battle for those 3 games? Because obviously you're going to have a war in every one of those games to be the champion. But I've never found a coach or player yet that doesn't want to be the champion of a league. So, but the guy that wins that is going to probably go through as tough 3 days as anybody's had in the tournament.
And the pride of being the champion of this league.
Absolutely.
And it does carry a lot of weight. It's the Players' Championship, there's no doubt.
There's Dees hitting the ball off his foot. Everything going wrong for Florida State.
14 turnovers. 75-47, North Carolina. A lot of people feeling good about the Tar Heels that wear the blue and white. How well they played the last couple of weeks, Billy, but I don't think anybody came to the Smith Center tonight expecting Carolina to win by 30.
Nope, I sure didn't. Pat Kennedy going to call for a 22nd timeout of his own. This has been a very, very poor performance by Florida State.
Almost a 40-point difference in their offense from the game in Tallahassee. They had 84 points against North Carolina and Florida, only 47 to.
Remember, the first year they were in the league, they swept North Carolina both home and away. And of course, won here last year, so it's not that these very players here haven't had some success on this court. That young man had 26 in his freshman year on this court.
He's still just 19 years old, Phil. He doesn't turn 20. He's Corey Lewis until February the 12th. Our nation's bank question, the team that holds the ACC record for most consecutive wins. And the answer is North Carolina with 37 straight back in the McGuire days of 57 and 58.
You know, I really thought that another North Carolina alumnus, we talked about Eddie Folker having a good year, and Roy Williams has got his team in #1 position. I honestly believe that they were going to go into the Final Four this year undefeated. Really? Yep, I had a feeling.
Now, they've been leaking oil for a couple of weeks.
Well, they have, and of course they've suffered a major setback with Pollard being out of their lineup. But I just had a feeling that they could pull that off. Jamison with that great quickness again.
15 for Antoine.
Kind of quiet 15 for him here tonight. Been so efficient as a team.
Tipped out, and the ball belongs to North Carolina. 4:39 left. But can you imagine the pressure that would be on a team to go to the Final Four? The media circus that's turned into.
Well, ask Jerry Tarkanian.
Exactly. Wasn't that long ago, was it?
Right. And plus all the other outside things that were weighing on that team with all the allegations that have been made.
Right. Carolina's outscored Florida State by 20 in the second half.
Backcourt.
Lamont Williams losing the dribble. 4:14 to play.
There's where you feel, if you're North Carolina, you feel so much more comfortable with the ball in Coda's hands delivering to Williams as opposed to the reverse of that.
22nd timeout called by the Tar Heels. ACC basketball coming up this weekend. It begins at noon on Saturday when the Maryland Terrapins and the Clemson Tigers go head-to-head at Little John. The Tigers won earlier this year at Maryland, and then the Saturday night game at 8 p.m. The Wolfpack of NC State visiting the Blue Devils at Duke. Check your local listing for your game time station.
Bob, I know we were talking before the game about this North Carolina team and the matchup here tonight, and I made a statement to you that may be ridiculous, but, you know, I've made those before. And that was the game Sunday a week ago. Clemson coming in here.
Yes.
Never having won here. I honestly believe that that might have been one of the biggest regular season wins that North Carolina has ever had, because the pressure it would have put on this young team had they lost that game, you know, going in the wrong direction, as Florida State is right now, that could have been a huge loss. And they really met the challenge and have turned things around for them. They're playing extremely well tonight. Here they are playing zone. Pat Kennedy up on his feet trying to get his team to do something solid, and it's just not there.
Well, with that game, Billy, that Clemson win, now look at what Carolina has done since that day. I mean, they've calmed down. They're running the offense more efficiently. I thought the game Saturday, you know, a Middle Tennessee team, which is a middle-of-the-road Ohio Valley Conference team, but a pretty solid mid-major team.
Put them away.
They just got blown out of here. Carolina's really playing well. Timeout at Chapel Hill. We'll be back. 3:37 left in Chapel Hill with North Carolina leading 81-47. We talked so much about Ed Cota tonight. Antoine Jamison very quietly had 15 points and 15 rebounds. And a foul is spotted on the Tar Heels.
I said the 15 points were quiet. I had no idea he had 15 rebounds.
That's something.
This game has been a game of efficiency for North Carolina in every respect. I mean, when you play solid basketball, well thought out, good game plan, guys unselfish, those stats just happen to come because you're in the right place, the right position, the right time. There's Jackson, and one of the few times he's been able to operate inside. Jai with the foul.
His third. 3:24 left in the second half.
And for Dean Smith, this puts him now 12 away from Adolph Rupp's record. Dozen games. Along those lines, for the game with Indiana against Illinois this past weekend, and Bob Knight is now moved into 700, and he is moving into 700, and he is 57 years of age, wins about 100 games every 4 1/4 years. So if he decides to stay around for a while, he's got a chance to eclipse them all.
Oh, that's a lot of wins.
Yes, it is. Because I say that, assuming that Coach Smith will step aside sometime after his 75th or 76th birthday. Because I don't see him getting any older.
To hear you
I don't see him
that.
getting any older. I see him getting to be better. Oh, did that slip, or did Coda try to make it behind the back pass? And he's tapping his own chest saying, that's my fault.
Wow, look at this one. What Virginia that was playing so well, and Wisconsin knocks off Michigan.
Well, you know, when we talk about these upsets, I don't know if there is an upset anymore. Maine beat Marquette at Marquette the other night. The kind of thing, unless you're a real sicko, you're not looking for scores. You know, you think maybe you're over in the women's column when you're looking for that. But they beat Marquette at Marquette the other night. Marquette, you know they're solid. They're playing at home, one of the best defensive teams in the United States. So I don't know what an upset is.
Well, I particularly take issue with conference teams that are ranked, and the higher ranked team loses on the lower ranked team's home floor, and they call that an upset.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
Particularly with the balance you're seeing around the country.
Mr. McNary taking it to the rack. Charlie McNary is a Moorhead scholar. He's in his senior year here at North Carolina, but I know that when you're a Moorhead scholar here at Chapel Hill, there are certain things that go with that. And I noticed that listening to the post-game radio show last weekend when Charlie was interviewed in the locker room show, and he called Woody Durham Woody and not Mr. Durham. I knew that he'd arrive as a Moorhead scholar.
You mean they don't teach etiquette?
Yeah. Look at that hustle play.
Nice.
Oh, from Sullivan.
From Sullivan.
To Eftimov for the lay-in. Now the blue team lives. 83-47.
And Bob Frederick will get his wish. His son is going to get into the ball game. Last time I was here to do a game in Carolina, Roy Williams had an off-day situation, flew all the way in here to see his son play, and unfortunately, in the JV game, his son sprained an ankle the first play of the game, and Roy didn't have that opportunity. But Bob Fredericks will see his son get in some minutes here.
Jeff Brower will move to the free throw line.
They were high school teammates in Kansas and Lawrence on a very good high school team, and decided both to come all the way over here to join North Carolina and go to school here. Great connection between North Carolina and the University of Kansas in terms of...
Where's Dean went there.
Yep. A lot of history, a lot of connection. Think of that 57 team that was featured here in the big screen. Who did they beat? Kansas. Triple overtime for the national crown.
He was a math major at Kansas, was Dean Smith.
You know, the only coach in Kansas history that had ever had a losing record for his career?
Mr. Mason.
Mr. The man invented the game. The only coach.
Call was not particularly cherished here. Long night for that man. Got to put the pieces back together in a hurry. Georgia Tech's coming to call Sunday in Tallahassee.
Absolutely critical basketball game for Florida State.
And the Yellow Jackets will come to Florida with some confidence now after what they're doing to Virginia tonight. 83-51. You just can't figure.
Would you assume Matt Hartring is having a pretty good game?
I would say so.
Sullivan made one excellent pass, breaks the double team.
Talked about the Florida State Georgia Tech game coming up this weekend. Then they go to Maryland, Duke at home, non-conference game, then at Clemson, at State, and they finish it up with the Deeks.
Nothing easy. As far as conference play is concerned.
Their non-conference
You know, and even when you come in here and play against North Carolina on the road against ACC teams that are ranked as they are, you know, close losses don't hurt you that bad with a selection committee. But when you get blown out and play poorly, it does not bode well for you.
84-53 as Dees hits the run. A minute 37 to play.
Good idea.
They break McNary, but Jackson's back. And Jackson, they got a count goaltending.
Oh, and the basket and a foul?
I think just the basket.
A good job by McNary because he went up against a real outstanding shot blocker and pulled it off. And you can see that all Pat Kennedy wants to do is to get that bus warmed up and get out of here. There he goes up. Jackson right there. Why was that goaltending?
Really no good by Brower, but the tip is good.
You can block it,
ball's on the back.
I'm not buying
back
that.
of the iron when he first touched it in the cylinder.
I think it was a foul, but I don't think it was goaltending. Well, a lot of playing time for the guys at the end of the pine here, and I'm sure they appreciate it. Florida State is more the same.
Redrick the rebound.
Florida State, you don't want to foul. You want that clock to keep moving.
I mean, this league would drive you nuts. Now you got it. I'd like to be Jeff Jones tonight. Your ball club's losing on the road at Georgia Tech. He's going to look at this score and say, oh, we got to go to Chapel Hill this weekend. Brower flipped it up and all. Here comes McNary. Picked away by Dees, but Frederick picks it up. Dees lays it home. 86-57.
And you know, as you watch games and it looks easy, and you see guys that really aren't that proficient, you can see how sloppy this game can become, particularly after watching Cota put on quite a show here in this ball game.
Newby lays it in. Terrence Newby, freshman from Siler City.
Nobody getting back for Florida State.
Collins. That's a three. Game's up to 21 points, but a hollow 21 tonight. Evtamar. Jackson the rebound, and that's going to be out of bounds.
I won't even classify that as an air ball. That was a pass. Okay. That is not an air ball. You cannot shoot an air ball if you miss by 6 feet. That was a pass to somebody. I don't know who, but it was a pass to somebody. See, I said it was a pass. He needed an assist.
North Carolina wins it and wins it big. Their good play continues. Big night for Ed Cota. Oh, the freshman played a sensational basketball game. Carolina wins it 90-62 over the Florida State Seminoles. We'll talk to the victors when we come back to Chapel Hill right after this.
ACC basketball was brought to you by Food Lion, by Budweiser, by Nations Bank, by Pepsi, and by Advance Auto Parts.
The final score from the Smith Center in Chapel Hill tonight, the Tar Heels 90 and Florida State 62. Let's take a look at our MVPs for the game. And for the Seminoles of Florida State, the most valuable player is Corey Lewis, who had 12 points and 6 rebounds tonight. And the game MVP for North Carolina, Ed Cota, who tied his career high with 14 points tonight. He had 10 assists and only 1 turnover, leading this Carolina offensive onslaught as they beat Florida State 90-62. This North Carolina ball club scored 99 points against Middle Tennessee here on Saturday. They followed that up with a 90-point performance against Florida State here tonight, and they will be taking on Virginia in their next game on Saturday afternoon. Then it's going to be over to Raleigh to take on NC State. Still 4 road games in the final 6 after Virginia for the North Carolina Tar Heels, who now stand at 4-5 in the ACC and 14-6 overall. Florida State drops to 12-7 and 3-7 in the ACC, 0-5 on the road in the conference. 90-62, Carolina wins. And now let's send it over to Billy Packer.
Thanks an awful lot. We've got a backcourt tonight that functioned as well as any I've seen in a long time. And Ed, in your particular case, you played like an old timer out there. Under control completely, passes that were beautiful to handle. It seems like not only are you leading the league in assists, but it seems like you're really comfortable out there with this ball club now.
Yeah, I try to come in the game, I come off the bench and try to get a spark out there and find an open man. And I have Shamar right here. I know he's a good shooter, so I try to spot him up anytime I see him open.
Well, Shamar, it didn't take you long to keep that streak going now. 12 games with 2 or more threes. This guy did a pretty good job putting the ball where it needed to be tonight for everybody, didn't he?
Yes, sir. Ed does a great job on offense, on pushing the basketball and distributing the basketball. Many games he's found me open off picks and things like that. And I'm very fortunate to have him by my side as my offensive teammate.
On this three-point shooting for you, let's talk to some of the kids that are out there watching you now, how you develop the range that you've developed on your three-point shot. How do you work on it?
Well, I spend a lot of time in the gym, Mr. Packer. I've worked real hard over the years on the three-point shot, and it's been successful for me. So I think there's no substitution for hard work.
Did either of you guys expect this kind of game in the ACC? You don't have many games where you're sitting over there in the end watching the guys that work all week to play against you in practice get an opportunity to play.
Yeah, we try to get the bench in the game, and it was time for us to get a game like this. We went into Wake Forest, and they kind of beat us like this, and we had to come out here today with our backs against the wall, and we needed to get a win.
Well, Shimon, nothing gets easier in the league. A lot of good teams around here. Bob, back to you two guys who really played great basketball tonight.
Indeed. Thanks, Billy. Congratulations to Ed Cota and Shimon Williams. Don't forget, we've got more ACC action for you this weekend. 2 games on Saturday. We begin at noon at Clemson as the Terrapins come in. And then at Saturday night at 8 p.m. it's Duke and NC State from Cameron Indoor Stadium. For Billy Packer and our entire ACC crew, Bob Rathman from Chapel Hill, thanking you for joining us. You've been watching exclusive coverage of ACC basketball on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. So long, everybody. Carolina wins it big, 90-62 over FSU.
With all the locations their off-highway capabilities could take them, you'd think there'd be little chance of ever seeing a Jeep vehicle in the same place more than once.